have to say about the background and academic as well as the administrative position. It's a long journey, and I spent some time, many years in the Jawaharlal University. I did LLM from the Nottingham University for a year. You are the best person to judge yourself. You should not worry about the ideal person. You are the best person to do. So you can decide. So I just introspect, I think about, I said, if a student comes, and I'm very happy that the students are very good, hardworking, they are engaged in many activities.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of DNLU Podcast. I'm your host Rohit Mewada, a fourth year law student. Today we have with us our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Manoj Kumar Sinha sir. Sir has pursued his LLB degree from University of Nottingham and completed his LLM from JNU Delhi. Sir has specialization in various fields of the law like human rights, constitutional law, international human and refugee law, environmental law, and etc. Sir has been invited as a guest lecturer overall India in the law school as well as overseas. Sir has been invited by the government institute as well, like Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Environment and Forest, ICRCA, UGC Academy of Staff Colleges, and etc. Sir has extensively published in reputed international journal. For that, Sir has received a scholarship in 2019 from Young International Development Research Center. So, before wasting any much more time, let's move on to the wonderful podcast series and invite our guest. So, thank you very much, sir, for accepting our invitation to this podcast series. And now I would like to ask you the question of our audience, that is the most awaited question. That can you please share a bit about your background and your journey that is leading up to the role of the Vice Chancellor or the Director of ILI, and a bit something about your academic journey.
So thank you very much, Rohit, for having me for this program. I also take this opportunity to thank Media Committee, convener of the Media Committee, particularly Manoj and his team, and all the students of DNLU for this particular program. Let's go, if I have to say about the background and academic as well as the administrative position. It's a long journey. And I spent some time, many years in the Jawaharlal University. I did LLM from the Nottingham University for a year, and then Delhi University Law Faculty. After that, I started my career in from the Indian Society of International Law, and I started as assistant professor, and I reached as the director of the institute.
Okay.
So, Director of Indian Society of International Law. And the stint of the Indian Society of International Law had provided me an opportunity to interact with many eminent international law scholars, starting with Ian Brownlee, Richard Falk, many others they came. And that also motivated me to continue in the teaching profession, doing research. And some way that institute has more a research institute. So I focused more on the research, and then partly I used to teach in the diploma courses in the evening. The major shift which I got as a professional position in the West Bengal of National University of Judicial Sciences. And there both. I was involved in, I was involved in the number of committees. And also I was exposed to a greater teaching. That is this large undergraduate and PG started. I introduced many courses there, and some of the courses very timely. Timely, what I mean, it's more in the global level and the local level. The development which were taking place at the global level, relationship between the business and human rights. So I started in 2012, and that was largely because of many students. They came and they said, "Hey, sir, you teach some new course." So somebody suggested that there is just new subject, business and human rights. I was teaching more hardcore human rights, so I introduced a course on the business and human rights. And you will be happy to know that in the year 2011, at the global level, instrument soft law has been adopted, that is guiding principles on business and human rights. I taught 2-3 semesters, And also I taught international criminal law, refugee law, human rights used to be compulsory paper in the NUJS. So that was the part of the third year students. And so I taught two sections, Section A, Section B. We had 4 lectures, for the undergraduate compulsory paper or credit, like compulsory mandatory papers, and 3 credit for the optional papers. So number of papers and teaching, hardcore teaching, if I say, I started with the NUJS, and all of a sudden I got in 2013 an opportunity to work the Indian Law Institute. I was not quite sure, but I got that opportunity, and I landed there. The system was entirely different, Indian Law Institute. So initially, I tried to adjust myself in the teaching, and teaching is like a shifting, because Indian Law Institute is law, domestic law focused. So I started with the international law and then landed in the domestic law domain, Indian Law Institute. So the Indian Law Institute is very respected institute. It's not institute, it's a deemed university. It's a deemed university, and it has its own standing in India. It is headed by the Honorable Chief Justice of India, and all committees of the Indian Law Institute is headed by the sitting judge of the Supreme Court of India, and also some maybe in some committee 2-3 judges from the sitting judge of the High Court. So that journey was a very good journey, when I got to know many people, got an opportunity to interact with the lawyers, got to know the more academicians I knew, and also closely. So Indian Law Institute, in a sense, if I say, it provides a platform where all stakeholders related with the law are in one place. Lawyer, judges, students, academicians. So they all come. So convergence of the all law scholars in the Indian Law Institute, that is the very important. But I made a point, I should teach. Director was not supposed to teach, or director could have taken an opportunity not to teach. But I always felt very deep urge for the teaching. So I feel teaching gives you an opportunity to know your students. Teaching gives you an opportunity to understand the problems of the students, and also you find some way for the improvement or scope for the improvement if you interact with the students closely. So that is why I chose to teach, and for 10 years, more than 10 years I stayed. And in fact, I'm still taking classes for them in the evening. For the LLM students, when first semester I completed, and second semester I was teaching Law and Justice in Globalizing World. Semester will end on the 7th May. So all students have requested that you teach. So I go back in the evening. Today also I have a class at 7 to 9 I teach Law and Justice. It's because of the request. So I feel that is very important thing in my life. When you leave the institution, students come, they join the class, 38, 39 students, they join in the class. I take the class. So journey over the years was very good. And then finally, when I got an opportunity to come here and meet all of you, so that's a wonderful opportunity. And from very beginning, I just thought, I'll go to the class, I must teach. I started, and I hope that I'll teach more in the coming semester to the undergraduate students as well. I've been teaching little bit, not much, in the center-state relation. So this is little bit different. So I started with a small, then I moved to the Indian Law Institute, big university. Now again I have come back to the big university where you have 600 to 700. So Indian Law Institute, 40 students. Only the 7 teachers, 40 students, 30 non-teaching staff. So that is the extent. But it's a university, it's a full-fledged university. You can't say, and also very high status in the. So you have been dealing with these 40 students, but my door was always open for the students, and that is some way I feel very attached to the students also. So the experience which I had in the NUJS will be very useful for me here to go in the class, interact with all of you, and take the things in a right direction.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, the follow-up question regarding that, then what has been the most surprising thing that you have learned about our university since joining? Or
Surprising.
Or impressive, we can say surprising, impressive.
Surprising, like, so when the offer was made, so you have friends, so you some way, like, with all modesty, so many people know they're sitting vice chancellor, they know, they called me and they said, different opinion. I said, I'm going there, and I don't see anything like, different from the top law school to any law school. The students are there. I see only it's a chance. It's 3 marks, 4 marks makes a lot of difference. Like civil services, a person who gets 1,009 or like 1,029 or 30 becomes an IAS officer, and another gets 1,001. He becomes very like group B services. So it's a marks. It's not the student's quality. Yeah. So I think I don't see there much difference. So people say, I have university, I have students, I have infrastructure. Why should I hesitate? So I had no problem. I had said, I'm going, and it's an opportunity. And I'm very happy. Like the suggestions or advice, I did not take very seriously. I thought my own, and I decide on my own every day. I think I'll go. And if you ask me one thing, then I say, and I suggest all of you, you are the best person to judge yourself. You should not worry about the ideal person. You are the best person to do. So you can decide. So I just introspect. I think about. I said, if a student comes, and I'm very happy that the students are very good, hardworking. They are engaged in many activities. And I promise to continue. I promise to help them whatever way they want, more academic activities, so they feel happy about the institute. So I'm not surprised, but I'm very happy. At least the students, the students in the university are not less than any other university or any national law school in India.
That's a very provoking thought, that we should judge ourselves and not the other people opinion. So you rely to the idea that the institution is as good as the people of that institution, and with you having in our university, the institution will excel definitely. So yeah, moving on to my next question, sir. What do you see the primary goal or priority for this university and the students?
Primary goal I see from the students' perspective first. The university, some main stakeholders, if I have to put the student first. Then, of course, if a student is there, you need teachers also, faculty is there. So I consider it's it's a collective working. It's a collective. And for the student purpose, I feel personally 2 important things I thought about seriously. The first is the teaching and research, and how to motivate. So students, by coming to the 3rd year or 4th year, they have a clear-cut picture before them where they are moving. Sometimes uncertainty, they don't know even the 5th year. So we must create an environment when students will be able to understand their priority areas in their life. If they want to go in academic, we must work on that. So teachers should also support. Teachers should, I personally feel, and teachers should be accessible, as far as possible. So that is very important. Half of the concern of the students effectively can be addressed if teachers are accessible, available. Accessibility, availability, it applies in the human rights framework also. But I feel that is very important when you are there to take note of the student. So I feel the focus of the university should be, and for the students also, because many students I have seen that they have written good articles, and in the journals we have to motivate in the teaching the research part. Also we engage students in the various activities, and I'm thinking about I have told the other day in the Bhopal also, I requested Vice Chancellor. Even yesterday I was online with the Lucknow, it's Ram Manohar Lohiya University Vice Chancellor. I said, I'm not interested that I come. You invite me or not invite me, that's not. I want an interaction between the teachers, between the students. The students of the 4 or 5 students, and even sometimes there is a possibility some of the students are based in Lucknow. So they can go there and see there, and their students can come here. But I say some way, I'm not planning in a big way, but we can start with exchange between students from our university and to the other university. I'm sure that this will work, at least with these 8 or 9 universities very easily, nearby universities. like Bhopal, Nagpur, Lucknow, even Allahabad. These are the places we can do that also. And another important point which I feel, our student, when if they pass out, they also think about contributing towards the society. That is the work towards the access to justice for the poor people, for the improvement of environment, respecting human rights. I'm not emphasizing on that students have to go in the litigation only. Whatever profession you choose, you have plenty of opportunity where you can assist the people, because the knowledge or skill which you are going to learn, that should be beneficial to this society. And a student must learn also to respect the rights and dignities of the other individual. These are the values I want to focus the student, and I feel very happy. Students are there, students think on that line. That is the aim I have. Work for the poor people, work if possible, give some time on the pro bono work and environment areas, human rights area. I also think about the students, some of the new courses can be introduced, which I feel that elective courses, basket of the elective courses can be increased. Like we can go for the artificial intelligence and machine learning. We can also take deep sea mining, we can think about. We can also think about even I can contribute teaching international criminal law, international refugee law. These are the papers, new areas, emerging areas where our institutions are competing, not locally, globally also. So you feel, you are integrated in the global system, and some way our courses, our learning capacity. And next point, if I take it further, there are a lot of things to say, that I also want to focus on the library. And I see some changes have taken place, and as far as possible, that is the place you all want to go, either physically or offline, online. So you can do that, because those days have gone. You have to sit in the library. Success of library depends upon the physical presence of the individual. That is not required, but accessible, library, so must we have maximum number online data bank, and also on the books and other things. So I focus on that particular. The students should. So to conclude, I say some introduction of some new courses, and of course then also for the students' purpose, which we started, but we need to strengthen. I'm not saying we have done a great job, but we can invite more teachers from the online and offline also. We can have more foreign teachers, and I want, maybe given time, sometime, we can have visiting faculty on our website, at least properly will take with commitment. I don't want take the people only for the sake of picture or something. I want the person who can at least 3-4 classes offline or online. That promise I want to obtain from the each scholars to become part. We can divide national or international teachers too. So these things are the pipeline I have. So I'm sure if gradually, if we take a step one by one, things will improve. And for that, I think I need support, cooperation, and your presence in the classroom. That will make a lot of difference for the education environment.
Sure, sir. Definitely, sir. The student body will act as an army of your vision to envision all the things that you have suggested. And in order to move further, I would like, what advice would you give to the students? Like, you thought that if you were a student, when the advice that you didn't get as a student, so that you would like to share with, or I would like to rephrase it.
One thing in the beginning, which is you decide yourself. So advice is very dangerous. So sometimes in confusion, uncertainty, so you seek advice when you have a doubt, or you seek, sir, I want to do that. But ultimately, I suggest you deeply ponder over your thought, what you want, and then you think about the professor. So advice, students, they plan everything on the third year onwards. Like first year, second years, when you join in the law school, what I understand, most of the time students are charmed or see that they want to go in the courtroom. They are arguing before the court. But gradually they move in the second and third year. Their interest little bit shift. they start exploring other areas, working in the government, working in the non-governmental organization, working as a lawyer or judge, judicial service. So these are the areas. So initial, I feel largely it influenced courtroom, because courtroom, the first year, the time you appear in the clat examination, you are more motivated in the drama which you see in the courtroom, and it inspires you. I want to, and that happens with us also. We always, I have regret. I had not gone to the court. But then I realized, I could contribute more if I go to the academics field. So this is the advice for the student. They plan. They should not worry about the first. They have when they come in the system, they should interact with the friends. They should learn the different culture, and nice to the people. And then gradually, second year, third year, they start thinking about. And of course, the teachers will also play an important role when they see that you have a good skill in that. He or she can also motivate you. So advice, I suggest the students, they think about what they want, and there are multiple opportunity in the legal field. There are multiple opportunity, including the civil services, judicial services, within India, abroad. So options are there. So I said, think carefully. Think take note of all concerns, your personal family conditions, your home, your friendship, and then you move accordingly. Okay. So we have students should also be, these days is very important. Family is also very important. Sometimes you are the only son, so you feel lot of questions, parents. So evaluate all these aspects. So your career will go. All students will do definitely good in the legal profession. They will be placed in the profession, but they must ponder over something which is invisible. What there you can think about and choose their path. And of course, all the teachers in the university, within the university, advise we are there to give whatever advice they feel. And also sometimes I can say, you go on this field, you will be very good. Like Manvender is there, is in the media society. So he can think about the media and law and option. He can think about the various aspects. Something which made him to, while studying in that process. Somebody goes on the sports. So sports, he's studying law. He can think about the learning sports law. Somebody is good in the computer. He can think artificial intelligence and machine learning, what I have said there. Some have very investigative skill. So institutions should also provide forensic science, like investigation. So a criminal lawyer he wants to become, and he wants also very technology. So we are living in a technological era. So some spark you see in the students in the beginning, and there are a number of, so the students can master on he can always do the master. So he can technology also, and he knows about the Article 19 and other important cases on the media and law can be very important. Artificial. So I said there are areas which we have to also help them. So I say media and law is important. We can. Artificial intelligence is there. Somebody is interested in the sea. The law of the sea is important. International environment. So institution has to also play an important role for that.
For the context of the audience that I would like to refer, sir has mentioned Manvendra. We have a student committee, that is media committee, and it has been run by the student. The podcast is one of the series that our media committee manage. So the sir has tried to identify the skill within the student from the management. So that's wonderfully, we can say a task that a professor done. जैसे हम कहते हैं कि जैसे कुम्हार मटके को घड़ता है, वैसे ही एक शिक्षक एक छात्र को घड़ता है आगे आने वाले समाज को सुधारने के लिए.
Thank you very much. I see that is the why you choose this one. It's not all of a sudden the lottery. So some students struggle. So sometimes in the first year you may not get a seat. So there are 5 members, and there I remember my friend in the Jawaharlal Nehru University. He has always he has a camera. Now he's a professor in England. Baba कहते हुए थे. So he wanted to become the chairperson of the media, I think, film committee of film society, because, and then I I was his election in charge, and in fact he's got elected with a huge margin in the JNU. So that is the reason. But I have seen my friend from the why you are carrying always your camera, everything. Baba, you will not understand, it's very important. And he carries, even he became a big professor, is Amlendu Misra, I remember in the England for. So he carries. So I noted him, like, no, that is spark, and then, so they just like, we have to identify that spark in students and motivate them. So since he's like, in this, any student working in any specific area, we have to also think as an institution, what are the important. People say that there is no scope for energy, there is no classes for energy law. The courses, universities are, so energy law become very important. The sports law, late has become very important. There are still very few teachers are there, very few university offer their sports law. So these are the specialized area. The media and media law also, the health law also become very important. So there are like a list of the things.
So, sir, since you're joining, we have seen your decision making from your office, and we've seen that you try to inculcate or you try to involve each and every component from the university, student, faculties, non-teaching staff, and your colleague as well, and you try to balance it out. तो पंक्ति में आखिरी में खड़े हुए व्यक्ति तक आप पहुंचाने की कोशिश करते हैं जो आपका मैसेज है. सो फॉर दैट मतलब द क्वेश्चन इज दैट हाउ डू यू फॉस्टर अ सपोर्टिव एनवायरनमेंट फॉर स्टूडेंट्स, फॉर फैकल्टीज, फॉर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव स्टाफ, नॉन टीचिंग स्टाफ एंड इन द यूनिवर्सिटी?
मुझे लगता है कि समटाइम्स योर पोजीशन creates creates barrier, artificial setup is created, and then you start enjoying that artificial environment when you are surrounded with many people. And then unfortunately, I never had that kind of thing. I always felt that if a position is a responsibility. Position is also how you make people happy. Position also allows you to be kind to the people. There will be gap. There will be some kind of issues always there. But handling issues should not create another issues.
Okay.
That is the important thing. We are dealing with the human beings. Human beings are there. So if it's which I followed in the Calcutta, in the Indian Society of International Law, and even so in Calcutta, I could have I could have left early. There was a scope to leave early. But I used to go 9:30 until 5:30. So many students not working directly with me, coming in like, sir, so I have something. I said, okay, no problem. So somebody is there to listen. So I felt, once you become accessible, and it gives also me personally to evolve. I'm not saying I'm doing something extraordinary, but I think it gives me an opportunity to think, to be nice to the people, learn something. So many times I introspect. So many times, sometimes if I lose temper, it hurts me more than the other person. I feel, I feel to adhere to a certain principles which are very essential. So and as you said, that everyone is important. I see the contribution of जैसे अगर हिंदी में कहें द्वारपाल से लेकर राजपाल तक, तो सभी बराबर ये सब अपने भगवान के कहीं ना कहीं they got a chance to serve. So I treat God is kind and to me, so I just think treat everyone, don't delay things. If I get a letter, sometimes I call people, at least that gives you a satisfaction. I have not written, but I have called a letter. If I receive, I said, "Theek hai, I'll attend, I'll try to do," and I try to, and then I start looking an opportunity to how to address that particular concern of this. So first thing, a student or a faculty or anybody approaches me, or even for the outside, if I receive a phone, even the students, many times they say, sir, you don't have time, no. So I'm not sure that I call. I said, you call, it takes only 2 minutes to speak. Doesn't we are not going to discuss entire Indian politics at this moment, so we can just handle in 2-3 minutes. But if necessary, you can free to call. I receive the call, I reply the students, and I will always do that till I am here in the earth.
So that automatically answer my next question that I have, that what advice would you like to give for the students who are aspiring for leadership position? So you have rightly mentioned
every individual has, so I'll not say I keep initially I mentioned don't follow. Many times I say, sir, I want to become like you. I said, you become what you want. So I have many difficulties or many challenges also. So I'm not perfect person. So you become your ideal should be you. You don't give even to any big person. So even lawyers, I say, I idealize and don't think about the top lawyers of the Supreme Court. If you go close, you will find how many things are if you come to know, that disturbs you. So you check out your plan, and I suggest the students, okay, certain things, certain values are universal. Certain values, certain ideas are universal that you follow and continue. And as far as possible, one has to be calm, peaceful, and not get disturbed for anything. When you are a student, you have number of things: class, assignment, marks, attendance. Number of issues are there. How to tackle? To see as a student, you see how to minimize. I try to always say, minimize that one. There is no need. Even many times in the Indian Law Institute, many students used to come, or even as a teacher, when I noticed he or she is not coming in the class, I used to tell my office, ask her what's the problem, why she's not coming. So otherwise she'll be in trouble. So I have 5% in my hand, but beyond it's very difficult. So I used to call her, the students, and said, क्या हो गया, सब तो ठीक है ना घर पे, why you are not coming? So you come and attend the class, you are going in danger zone. So that is the way behind it.
So, जैसे कि सर आपने पहले बताया कि आपने इलेक्टिव कोर्सेज शुरू किए थे. वन ऑफ द कोर्सेज इज बिजनेस एंड ह्यूमन राइट्स लॉ. लेटर ऑन इट बिकेम अ गाइडिंग फोर्स इन मतलब एट द ग्लोबल स्टेज. तो कैसे वो ट्रांजिशन हुआ एंड हाउ डू यू फील अबाउट दैट पर्टिकुलर?
I said कि business and human rights, so initial almost in 1999 onwards, when at the global level, so many non-governmental organizations, international governmental organizations, they started putting pressure on the international institution. What I mean, international institution. We must do something to make transnational companies accountable for the human rights. That is the idea. So at the global level, exercise was going on. So this subject was appeared in the international human rights discourse in 1990 onwards. After the WTO has come, it's there. So 2001, what I said, United Nations General Assembly adopted a guidelines on business and human rights. That is the culmination of a document. So even General Assembly is adopted. So if today, if anybody, they can say that this is the guideline which companies should follow. So the point which I shared with you, so the 2010 when I started, so I was aware, somebody told me that business and human rights can be a good subject. Students also liked, corporate law students also wanted to join. So I clubbed so that was also for me a new area. Human rights teaching in a different way. Human rights not teaching when the civil and political rights or collective rights something. So business and human rights. So it required a lot of exercise, and but anyway I managed. And then I chose the topics number of lectures because so this course was elective course. Elective course means 3 credit course, 36 hours classes. And so the teaching, my teaching was more focused on the development which were taking place at the international level. So international element, and that is the reason I said when I was teaching the business and human rights, same time at the global level, United Nations were working for some kind of legal framework. Though they failed to adopt a legal framework, they failed some kind of soft law they have adopted. It's not binding on the state, but of course it's a guiding force and very important document which adopted in 2011, which remains still very relevant. And that also, to take it further, and sometimes when you do something, you meet people also. So by chance I meet a working group member on the business who works in the United Nations, and we conducted first program in India with in collaboration with the Hong Kong University and Indian Law Institute on business on human rights in 2017-2018 there. So the journey which I started, which was largely pushed by the students. The student came and they said, teach sir, come over. Particularly 4th year, 5th year students. So they wanted some elective papers.
Elective paper that has been recent development over the global stage.
Right.
So the law is a very dynamic subject, we can say. It changes as the society change, and the academia of the India, we can say, the scholars of the Indias need to adopt the changing dynamics in a way that's
true. As I said, we have to be very competitive, and that is also reflected. Though national education policy somehow not attempted to touch legal education, but they have mentioned in one of the paragraph, if I remember correctly, that is 20.3. It talks about legal education. It's like
Yeah.
legal education. You teach constitution, competitive globally. So our national education policy somewhere focuses on the competitive global education, competitive legal education. So and that is the reason these are the papers you find more common in the European universities than Western European countries and England and the USA and other places. So we have to also imbibe that.
Okay. And some moving on to that particular part, the career in academia or the students who wanted to pursue LLM. So what kind of option or they should move forward, and what advice that you would like to give to the audience?
I consider myself very fortunate that I worked in the Indian Law Institute for almost 10 and 11 years. And today, if you, at least because this institute is based in Delhi, so first preference of the students to work in Delhi and NCR. 60% teachers in the Delhi and NCR you'll find passed from the Indian Law Institute. So focus of the Indian Law Institute was teaching. So they come. So some students dropped out when they find it's very difficult. Because they wanted to be in judicial services, they opt out. They say, "Okay, will not continue." So once you go for the LLM, I keep on saying for everyone. So all of you, if you are doing LLB 5 years, now 1 year LLM, I say, you can continue to another 1 year. You add on. So 6 years you have done. So even if you practice, you have age over the other lawyers. So 70 to 80% lawyers come to the bar with LLB degree. They become judge also with LLB degree. So since you are spending 5 years, 1 more year if you add, so you have age in the courtroom or bar. So LLM, I say you complete. Whether you want to go in the academics or you want to practice or you want to judicial services, but take the legal education for 5 plus 1, 6 years, and then you branch it out, wherever you want to go. So academic, of course, by the time you go in academic, you sometimes meet your teachers, you feel like teaching. Then you continue, because now PhD is very important. So once you finish LLM, you do your PhD, and I'm sure once you do good PhD from good university, lots of opportunity in teaching is there. The process is a little bit slow because when you go for academicians, you'll find that number of your friends have already started working. So there's some challenges are there, but area is good.
So another aspect of doing LLM is doing LLM from abroad. That is, most of the students wanted they can do LLM from Harvard or Oxford or other universities, renowned universities internationally. So what kind of suggestion would you like to give to them?
I want to give an honest suggestion, because some way I'm involved in the recognition of the foreign degree in India. So first recognition of foreign degree, once you have done, whether you are in Harvard or Cambridge or whatever university, if your degree is not recognized in India, so you have to obtain a certificate. You have, I don't want to disclose, but I know. So I suggest the students, the first LLM you do from India.
Okay.
Because it's not going to cost you anyone. And then you practice for something, whatever you want to do. Because going abroad, it involves a lot of money. You go with a scholarship. And if you have surplus, you can go, there's no problem. But don't take borrow money from the bank and then you go abroad, you come back. But these all things I'm just suggesting, but these are the subject to the individual. But I would categorically say the 1 year Indian LLM, because that will allow you to sit in the NET examination. Even the foreign degree will allow you to sit in the NET examination, but still equivalence is required. Each student is seeking. From Yale, Harvard, or even for LLB, they have to, this equivalence problem is there. Once you clear your NET examination, that certificate has to be there. Then your certificate comes from the NET.
Okay, so
I suggest everyone, give 6 years. And if necessary, you can leave 5 years, not in the final word, but I say 5 plus 1, if you can find time, you can manage, then you go on that route. Not necessarily in the same university, you can go to another university in India. You can change the city also, learn, and then.
Okay, and sir, what kind of academic journey should a litigating aspirant should move forward with? A lawyer, what are the aspects?
When you decide you want to become a teacher, you have a clear vision that you want to become a teacher. You must decide that your journey you are going to complete your PhD. One go you complete. So by you are 27 or 28, maximum by 29, you will have all requirement over.
Okay.
You will have LLB. I will not touch 30. If a student from the law school, 5 years law school, he spend, I think by 23 they complete, more or less 23 or 20, in few cases 24, but between the 22 to 23 they complete. 1 year, 24 you complete your LLM. 3 years, if you are hardworking, 3 years or maximum 4 years, by 28 I think. And I have 2-3 students, they have completed PhD by 29. And by the time they finish their teaching, they study, they got a job also. So that is by 29. If you leave your PhD, it will always haunt you. You can get a teaching job by LLM degree, because to become an assistant professor, you have to only NET or JRF. That is the only requirement, eligibility criteria. But now you have a competition. So PhD program gives you good marks also when your applications are screened for the same position. So a PhD holder has a chance to be called for the interview. So I suggest, and that PhD takes you to the different levels altogether. You work in a particular domain. So I suggest, if anyone has interest in the academics, without looking anywhere, go for LLM, do the PhD from the good place, wherever, within the country, outside the country. And then I see many young students, and I have guided many young students. They are teachers. They have got also Fulbright scholarship. One girl I taught in LLM, last year she got the Fulbright scholarship 1 year there.
Okay.
So number of the students reading. And in that period, to answer your other questions, that you start writing when you're 3 years. So you can write from the LLB level, but once you are LLM, that writing will be considered seriously. So doing the PhD, you must write 2-3 good articles, and I suggest in the good journals. You don't need to write thousands of the article, but you write in a good article published in the good reputed journal. That will make a lot of difference in your academic journey.
Okay, so you have rightly answered the question that what should an student aspire to do in order to become a good academician. So,
and I see the capacity in the students in the law school to write good article and publish in good journal.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And with that, we would like to conclude this podcast and our last message to our audience.
So thank you very much for inviting me for this podcast. And I take again, as I said in the beginning, so good luck to all the students of DNLU. I'm sure that they will excel in the academic field, legal field, wherever they want to go. Our best wishes, and we all are there to help them. So thank you very much.
So, sir, from the side of the student, we would like to thank you for taking your precious time for this particular episode, and we'll be looking forward for more such videos. Thank you.